So we are now approaching St Mark's Roundabout from St Mark's Church. There's St Mark's Church to the left. This again isn't traffic light controlled. Our intention here is to take the second exit into Waynalong Road, which is again a common return route to the test centre. So there's our gap. We move the car, and at this point we put a left-hand signal on. We hadn't signalled left previously because that would have been confusing, thinking we were going down the London Road. Again, we keep straight. We drive straight to the traffic stanchion until we're near to the curb line, then make our turn and cancel the signal to avoid confusion with that right-hand junction, left-hand junction even. Our intention now is to turn right into Manor Road. So again, right, having checked the mirrors, right-hand signal. Positioning here, holding, I always recommend first gear. Get your view over the brow of the hill, have a good look into the junction before turning into it without cutting it. New road, new mirrors. Our intention at the next roundabout is to turn right, so we're starting to plan and think about that now. There's a view of the route board. We want to take the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth exit right. So checking right mirror, right shoulder, right signal. We now position the car into lane 2, and we're now planning our approach. We're in the speed phase, and we can see the lights changing. So we're off the gas. What you can also see is there's an extreme right-hand lane. So for a right-hand turn, we position extreme right. This approach is obviously traffic light controlled, and we also have, as you can just about see through the fog and the faded paintwork, a yellow box junction, so we mustn't enter that junction unless our route through it is clear. Again, constantly mirror sweeping at this point, just to be aware, very aware of everyone who's around us. So when the lights change, we will be checking to our right. Obviously not going to just rely on a green light to pull forward. We're going to check that nobody's overshooting the junction to our right. So we're checking, and no, I'm happy with those cars. Heading towards the centre disc to take the inside lane. The next set of lights are still green. Checking the yellow box junction is clear, and we've got the kicker on the paintwork on the inside there, which throws us out into this lane, at which point we change our right-hand signal to a left-hand signal, as our intention is to take the next exit into Waynalong Road. What we've got to be careful of here as we move forward is not to cut. If we were to go straight across to Waynalong Road now, we would be cutting the lane next to us, which is obviously highly dangerous. So the route we're actually going to take to keep us out of that lane is almost driving straight ahead towards the lamppost and the traffic light stanchion that you can see straight ahead. So that fence that is effectively straight ahead of us is where we're going to head first until we get somewhere near the curb line, and then we will start to make our turn. So the lights have changed. I'm checking to the left and scanning the mirrors before moving the car, and that keeps us in our lane. We enter Waynalong Road, immediately cancelling the left-hand signal to avoid confusion with that left-hand turn just inside the junction. Looking ahead, there's the board, the marker board for St Mark's Roundabout. Our intention is to take the first exit marked there for Laverstock, so that will be a left lane approach, and it's the first exit, so we will be putting a left-hand signal on. So checking our mirrors, signal, position is to the left-hand lane as we've said. We're now in the speed phase, which on this occasion is going to be bringing the car to a complete stop, and then taking an appropriate gear to move it forward. So we're in first gear, checking those blue lights, short shifting to second, so we're in a flexible gear. The blue lights have gone the other way, so we're fine to flow on. As soon as we got into the junction, we cancel our signal because of the left-hand junction immediately after it. Our intention now is to turn right into Manor Road, which again is a typical route back to the test station. Just pause here, and I'm taking first gear. As you can see, you've got a loss of visibility. There's a brow of the hill, and that police car has just emerged from over it. Also taking a good look into the road to check nobody's coming, and check that we don't cut the centre marking of that junction. New road, new mirrors. We've got. Okay, So we are now approaching St Mark's Roundabout from the London Road, and this is quite a common route back to the test centre, and in that case we can just see the route board coming up now. If you're heading back to the test centre, it would be a simple left hand turn that is signed there for Laverstock, so it would be left lane approach. We're going to take the right hand turn signed for Warminster, so that's a right mirror right signal before positioning the car into the right hand lane. Three mirror scanning at this point to check nobody's filtering through the middle. Giving space so we can get a view of the tarmac as we come onto the roundabout. So we go to the centre disc. And I'm checking my left mirror and left shoulder very actively now, because I'm actually going to move into this outside lane. Checking my left mirror, left signal, and then I exit neatly into lane 1 of the 2. Okay, so we're just approaching St Mark's Roundabout from the London Road, and you can just start to see the green route board. And our intention is to take the 4th exit right with the height restriction symbol. So we're checking centre mirror, right signal before positioning the car to the right hand of the 2 lanes. Traffic lights are red, so the speed phase will obviously be to bring the car to a halt. And then the approach to start with will be pretty typical. We'll be going to the centre disc so that we can see straight ahead there, and we will be driving reasonably straight towards the centre disc. 3 mirror sweep before moving the car, quick glance to the right, keep it reasonably straight, take to the curb line to avoid encroaching on anybody else's lane, and the kicker then naturally throws us into lane 2. Now lane 1, as we can see, is fully occupied, so we are going to remain in lane 2, but crucially we must now exit into lane 2. So left mirror, left signal, but exiting into lane 1 of the 2, lane 2 of the 2 lanes. Now checking my left hand mirror, and I have an option now to pull back in near side. Okay, so we're now approaching St Mark's Roundabout from Castle Roundabout, and our intention is to take the 2nd exit, so the London Road exit. So checking our mirrors, considering a signal, but we're holding our signal because we've got St Mark's turning before London Road. We're now in the speed phase, which is bring the car to a stop with a safe separation gap on the Discovery in front of us. Take it out of gear and get some fuel economy at the moment, so out of gear. When the lights change to amber, we will re-engage first gear, which will automatically restart the car. We'll 3 mirror sweep and have a glance to the right at that point, just to make sure nobody's overshooting the junction. So 3 mirror sweeping, glancing, left mirror, left signal, and exit. Having cleared. So this yellow sign becomes quite relevant to the planning for our next manoeuvre. So Southampton A36 traffic use both lanes. So Southampton is a right hand turn, so normally convention would dictate we approach it in the right hand lane, and that is perfectly acceptable to do that, but it is also in this instance acceptable to approach it in this left hand lane. So we'll just have a look at how we do that. So mirrors, we're already positioned correctly. So at the moment I'm holding my signal, because if I put a right hand signal on, that may confuse people into think I was making an imminent move from this lane 1 to lane 2. As we get onto the roundabout, I am putting a right hand signal on to tell people my intention is to turn right, but I'm remaining in the left hand of the 2 lanes, positioning out wide, keeping that right hand signal on until we check our left mirror, left signal, and signal on exit in the correct lane. We now bring the speed up, having checked our mirrors. Traffic is currently light in both directions. This yellow sign on the left hand side becomes quite interesting. Southampton A36 traffic use both lanes, so our intention is to go to the A36, and given the queue in lane 1, I'm going to check my right hand mirror and shoulder, pop a right hand signal on and move out into lane 2 with a view to making more progress by using lane 2. So all of these heavies are going to be using the left hand lane, and our intention is to turn right using the inside lane. So right mirror, right signal on approach, noting the reduction in speed limit to 30 miles an hour, and we're in the speed phase, which on this occasion is going to be a stop anyway, given the red light. So we positioned to the right hand lane, but remembering there are 2 lanes on this roundabout, quite unusually, that will take us round to the right. So the white car just to my left there could potentially be turning right as well. Checking to the right and 3 mirror sweeping. Taking to the centre disc here with a right hand signal still on. Following around, there's the kicker, which moves me out. And then I change my right to a left signal as I exit into lane 2 of the 2 lanes. 40 mile an hour speed limit. Looking to move the car along now. Not looking to exceed the speed limit, so that's a nice constant 40 miles an hour. And then we will look to return to lane 1. Now approaching St Mark's roundabout, and our intention is actually to come full circle and go back on ourselves. So just a manoeuvre we need to approach with caution, despite it being a large roundabout. To make it very clear where we're going. So to start with, we need to move to the right lane. So centre, right, shoulder, right signal, position the car into the right lane. Observing the speed reduction from 40 to 30 miles an hour. Checking the approach is clear, the yellow box junction, we're not going to obstruct that. Taking to the centre disc. The kicker would throw us out, but we are actually going to continue around on this inside lane until this kicker now throws us out, checking the left mirror and taking the extreme left hand lane, which will now position us nicely to exit into lane 1 of the A36. So if this inside lane is available, it's preferable to use that, and we should, as a matter of principle, use it. We should only be using the right hand lane when this one isn't available. As a general convention, we drive on the left. Delaying my left hand signal, because there's obviously one junction before the one we're going to leave. 3 mirror scanning at this point. Left mirror, left signal, exiting into lane 1. Now the wheels are straight. Bring the gas in.